this video, we're going to be discussing what makes another person so different from another, and not just physically, right? But actually, what is the essence and the energy behind each person? What is that called, and how do you make that shift to be different and to feel different from other people? Let's take an example of when we're walking into a room. For instance, let's say you are actually the one in the room and there are a few people that are walking in to the room. You could experience a difference in the way these people feel. You could see who's more confident, you could see who's more insecure, you could see who's more comfortable to be around, who's more maybe funnier and easygoing, and someone who's a little bit more strict. How do we sense these energies about people? And this is exactly what we're going to be covering in this video today. I love this topic because it really gives us a picture of every single human being. Although yes, physically we have the same type of structure, physically we do look different, but our structure stays the same. Same thing with our soul. Our structure of the soul stays the same with every single person, but what makes us different is our essence. It's really our belief system. Every single person in this world has a belief system that accompanies them throughout their life. Can that belief system shift as they live their life? Absolutely. Somebody that was born poor could definitely shift their mentality about money and wealth, and then be able to attract wealth into their life by starting a business, creating something, and attracting wealth, not because they're lucky. Their mind has shifted from the poor mentality to a more richer mentality. So everything that comes down to the essence of a human being comes down to the belief system that that person holds. This is how we could tell the difference between person A and person B. What are their beliefs? Our belief system is very, very deep. It's not just a broad belief system. Hey, this one just believes in God, this one doesn't, and that's it. Every single person has beliefs that vary from big beliefs to smaller beliefs, to what they believe about themselves, to what they believe about the world, to what they believe about the politics, and etc. So everyone is a book that has many, many chapters. Every single person is an onion that has many, many layers. And so when we talk about beliefs, when we talk about being an onion, we talk about a huge essence that comes with the physical body. And so this essence is what creates and what actually shows the dynamic of the person. Our belief system in our life creates literally our entire reality. So let's say, for instance, I give you an example of somebody who was born and who was told from a young age that they weren't worthy of receiving much in their life. They weren't worthy of having love, of making money, of having a career, of having a talent. How many of us actually experience growing up and being told that we're just like everybody else, that we don't really have anything special about us? How many of us grow up and feel like maybe we're just too dumb, or maybe we're just not smart enough? How many of us grow up and are instilled with the belief that wealth is hard to acquire? I mean, these are all the beliefs that I keep hearing. Not only in my life have I heard them, but in other people's lives. I'm seeing these beliefs literally create the way a person thinks. And then this person is creating the way their life turns out. The only difference between somebody that walks into the room more confidently and the other one who's more insecure, the reason why the confident is going to get the job is because the essence of the confident one is strong. It's a powerful force. It's a magnetic force. And it not only will attract that job opportunity, but it will also attract many other things that that person may want. That confidence, that belief about one is going to attract many blessings and many things that the person may ask for. So when you're standing next to that person as opposed to standing to the one who's insecure, you're going to be magnetized to walk with the one who's more confident. If you had to follow one or the other, you would follow the confident one because they seem confident in what they're doing. And the only reason why they're confident in the first place is because they have a belief within them that they know what they're doing. They may have failed millions of times and only passed one time, but because of that passing one time, because they were able to achieve something that one time, that could create a belief that you are confident. That could create a belief that you know what you're doing. So it's all about our mentality. It's all about our mindset. How are we perceiving things? Are we taking our gains and blessing them and saying, wow, I was able to create something with this. I was able to create something myself. Are we taking our gains and converting them into beliefs about ourselves? Are we looking at our losses and converting our losses into negative beliefs about ourselves? This is a question that's very important for you to kind of ponder and think about, because this is, I see this all the time where people will accomplish many things, and there are certain things that they weren't able to get to, and immediately there comes a belief from not being able to do that. There comes a belief that they're not good enough, they weren't able to do it, they're too weak, or whatever it is. And so we have to be very careful about the mind creating these beliefs, creating these statements in our head that our conscious mind and our subconscious mind, matter of fact, cannot decide whether it's true or false. Because our subconscious mind, the way it works is that it receives everything you tell it. So there's no discrimination between what you're telling the subconscious mind. If you, let's say for instance, you're really rich and you tell your subconscious mind you're poor, your subconscious mind is actually going to take that as truth. And it will start creating things, it will start creating thought patterns that will kind of navigate you to a poor mindset, to thinking like a poor individual. Right? So we know in a lot of cases that usually doesn't happen. Once a person reaches a certain status, once a person reaches a certain, let's say for instance, wealth bracket, them kind of crashing down to the level of poverty, like it's very rare that happens. The reason why is because the muscle of having that belief of being very worthy of money, being very worthy of success, being very worthy, being very confident in your ideas, in who you are as a person. That's why you're generating all this income, because you are bringing something, you have value. Many people that generate a lot of income, that create a lot of wealth for themselves, they truly, genuinely see value in themselves and in whatever it is that they're giving to the world to make that money. So whether it's a system that they created, whether it's a business they said that had opened, whether it's whatever, I don't know, a developer, somebody who built a building. I mean, whatever your specialty is in, whatever your talent lays in, not even talent, whatever you're passionate about, you're able to generate money from it by seeing and believing that you are valuable and that whatever it is that you're giving to the world is valuable. So a lot of the times we don't see people on that level crashing down because that belief is so strong within them. It's very hard to break that belief. So as opposed to take somebody who is on the poor level, for instance, right? Let's say someone who's not making money, who maybe comes from a poor background, and that belief, that muscle memory of being told that you can't make money, that it's very hard to make money, that you're not valuable, you got nothing to offer to the world, that muscle is very hard to break down. It's very hard to overcome that muscle and build a new one that's going to shift your entire mindset. But this is why you have people like myself, coaches like myself, who actually go and deep dive into our mind and literally expose the truth behind it all. See, it's all quite simple. There's really nothing more to it than us understanding that it's literally our internal way of thinking and being that is creating our life. We have to be very mindful, and we have to kind of pay attention to the thoughts, to the beliefs that are coming up for us throughout our life on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, maybe when challenges arise. Maybe that's when your belief system starts to shine brighter, when shit hits the fan. So our belief system, whatever was created, whatever we inherited from when we were young, from our parents, from our grandparents, whoever, from schools, from churches, from priests, whoever, our belief system will literally create our essence inside. Now, the truth of the matter, and this is where I come in, and many, many other coaches and teachers in today's day that are using ancient wisdom to teach this stuff, to finally bring this out into the world, because it deserves to be heard by everyone. There's no seclusion. There's no, they're more special than I am, so they're able to have access to this information. No, this goes out to the entire world population. This is the truth. The truth is that we all have the same power. We all were made the same way. All human beings were made the same way, and they have one soul. They have sparks of souls, but they all take all human beings together. It's a combination of one soul. And that one soul is the creator, is God, as some people may call it, is light. And so every single soul out in the world has a spark of the light. Okay? Which represents having a little bit of God within them, right? Feeling godly within yourself. Understanding your own power. If you know, then you know that ultimately the creator has all the power. There's nobody else that's more powerful than God. There's nobody else that's more powerful than the creator, right? And so we ultimately understand that. Do we believe in that? I don't know. I do, but I don't know about you. But the creator, God, literally can make anything happen, right? That's why we experience miracles. We experience things that we never thought we would be able to experience. We experience new heights of success. We experience these miracle stories of people being healed. Of maybe people getting pregnant, of people there's all these different, all these beautiful divine blessings that literally happen on a daily basis all around the world. And sometimes we question, how did we get so lucky? How are we able to get such a miracle, get such a blessing? And the truth is that the creator has that power, but only if you kind of have that connection, right? You have to kind of build that connection with the creator to be able to experience such a blessing, to be able to see it. And then once you see it, once you acknowledge it, you're able to attract even more. And then it becomes inevitable. You're like, wow, all of these blessings, there's definitely something higher out there that's been helping me, that's been guiding me, that's been literally supporting me. And at that point, you just become a believer. But we're not going to talk about believers or non-believers. We're just talking about one simple concept. We all have the power. We all have a soul within us that literally becomes our essence. But what's covering the soul, and the soul is, if you take an onion, the soul is literally the middle of the onion. What's covering the soul is all these layers, right? Think of an onion, you have all these layers. So what's covering the soul is all these layers, all these beliefs of the things that we inherited as we grew up. So this is why when we do a lot of work, when I do work with clients, we go dig deeper into the childhood. We talk about what were you told as a child, what were some of the memories that you have as a child. And so some of these things, they really unlock certain beliefs that we carry. And once we're able to recognize that we had a negative belief and we're able to shift that belief into a positive one, now your entire life changes. And that's really the truth. That's really the truth. That's how it works. Somebody who's very intelligent and is applying to get into a really good school compared to somebody who may be intelligent but doesn't truly believe that they're smart enough applying to the same school, what are the chances that the one who actually believes that they're really smart is going to get into the school as opposed to the other one? We actually have the ability to change our belief system. My intention for today's video is to show you that we, all human beings, foundationally are all the same. And the only difference that comes between one another is the beliefs that we were told and that we acquired as we grew up. And some of these beliefs are very, very negative. And not only did they deteriorate our self-worth, but they deteriorated the world that we live in. This is why we see hate, and this is why we see crime, and this is why we see violence, because this is the belief that the children learned when they were growing up. Of course, every single adult at this point has to take responsibility for their actions. And everything is divinely guided and protected by the Creator. He sees what's going on and He's guiding it. He's making sure things are the way they need to be. So we don't need to worry about what's going on here, what's going on here. This is injustice, this is injustice. Stop all of that. The Creator's in charge of that. But what I want you to recognize and start recognizing is that you have an inner child within you. So does your neighbor, so does your parents, so does every single other person in the world. And that inner child may have not received what they needed to receive in order to grow up healthy, in order to grow up loved, in order to grow up confident and worthy. And once we start recognizing these wounds, once we start recognizing that we ourselves carry some of these wounds, and these wounds are actually shaping our entire reality, we start to change them. And our whole life changes. And then what happens? People recognize the shift in you and they start changing. And it becomes like this domino effect. And that's really the intention of me speaking out on this, me being able to finally step into this world and talk about it, and so many other coaches, so many other people stepping into their power, stepping into their passions, and talking about things that we've all have studied for so many years. So take some time and reflect and really think about some of the beliefs that you hold, and stop hiding away from them. Don't be afraid to face yourself in the mirror. This is one of the hardest things we will ever do, is face ourselves in the mirror and actually ask, what beliefs do we have that aren't healthy? And it may take some time for us to get to that level of asking these questions. But once we get to that level, you may experience a lot of pain. But just know that that pain is bringing you to the next destiny. It's bringing you to the next level of your soul. And that next level of your soul will experience wholeness and unity and love and just everything that you want. But we have to get there first. By finally facing ourselves, by finally looking at our shadows and embracing our true essence. This is something that I will be talking about at the 3-day course that I am coming out with right now in the next few weeks. This is a 3-day course to come back to yourself, where I will walk you through certain practices throughout the day where you will be finally reaching this level of your soul, where you'll finally feel what it is to finally be you, to not be covered by all these layers of negativity, of self-doubt, of this critical voice, of this perfectionism. All of that is a negative force that lives within you. So in my course, we will be uncovering those layers, and we'll be really reaching for that light within us, for that soul within us. And at the end of the course, my intention is for you to be able to finally connect so deeply to your soul that you don't ever forget that moment and you could always go back to it. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, I want you to start asking yourself, what is it about myself that's holding me back from living the life that I genuinely desire? Do I feel like I'm not worthy enough of it? Do I feel like I don't bring much value to the world? Do I feel like I can't have that because I'm not talented or good enough? Do you feel like you can't have that soulmate relationship because you're not lovable or because you have some issues? Start asking yourself these questions, and if you come to some realizations, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear more about your feedback during this process, and stay tuned for my 3-day course that's coming out in a few weeks. Thank you guys so much for watching. God bless you.